Good morning and welcome to the Rest and Refueling Station, Session 1. In this session, the whole point is to ease back, relax and let the steam pressure out of your ministry. So instead of being in front of this corporate background, where we focus upon the conference and the fact that we're seeking to be the best children's workers that we can be, let's just remove that for a second. And welcome to my study. Let's just chill. Sit back, put our feet up and talk about how life has been for the past nearly 12 months now, because for most, if not all of us, it's not been easy. We've had to cope with things no one has experienced before. We've had to learn new skills, look out for new opportunities, or even be forced to step back and just watch things unravel. It's been hard. The past 12 months have had some difficult days. There have been a lot of children's workers saying it's been tough. Mental health has been battered like never before for many people, and lots have lost their jobs, lost connections with their children and their groups. Ministries have lost momentums. We've all lost friends and loved ones. We've been isolated and closed in. But on the other hand, there have been new opportunities and new fruits too. It's been the days of the new normal. But how has it really been for you? Whatever your experience has been, children's workers around the country, we want to support and celebrate you. So in this session, we want to feed together a little, worship together a little, and share and pray together as well. So we're going to hear from the Bible. So listen out for God's voice as we look at Exodus chapter 33 together. We'll hear a bit from the experiences of a church-based children's worker, Debbie, as well, being very honest about how life has been. So listen out for parallels with your experiences or for those with others that you know. And then there's going to be a chance to reflect and worship and let God settle some thoughts in your mind. So first, let's go to our Bibles and to Exodus chapter 33 and hear God's word together.
Hi, my name's Debbie and I'm a children's worker. My job is to create safe spaces for families to explore and journey in faith. Or at least I used to think so. I'm now a script writer, film producer, director, actor, and feel completely disconnected with the roots of my job because the main space we get to meet is virtually online. And there was a moment towards the end of the summer where I was like, God, what are you doing? I don't know if I can do this anymore. I can't go back to filming. I don't know which way's up. And if I do make a plan, well, is it going to change anyway? So it was just a really tricky time. Back in March, it felt like a short-term blip. So we just kind of like adapted to this novel difference. I made online packs for the children, I collected prescriptions, and I called round to parents and made sure they were okay. But then the goalpost moved. There seemed to be no end in sight. Children were suffering from Zoom fatigue, communication dropped off, and I felt completely alone as I was just sending video after video out into the ether, not really knowing what impact it was having. We explored lessons from the wilderness and what it meant to search for the promised land, to help the children know that even in tough times, God is with us. And while he may not take the troubles away, he gives us what we need for the journey. Then lockdown lifted. Something you think I'd celebrate, but actually it made life so much more murky. You could do some things, and I imagine it was a bit like when God's people got released from slavery into the land. They had some freedom, but they didn't really know what to do with it, or what they could do, or how they should do it. And questions rose from the families. I was told it's not safe to do groups, but we need groups. You're doing amazing, but what you're doing isn't meeting the mark. And really, should you be doing that much filming because you're a children's worker? Nagging panic set in. And I kept on asking myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I meeting the needs of my family? God, what's going on? God, help me. You can't live in that sort of state of tension forever. And eventually my body caught up with me and a massive allergic reaction landed me in bed for a week. It was a little bit like Elijah when he hit the kind of end of himself and God had to feed him spiritually and physically so he could regroup and be sent back out. In the pausing, in the having to stop, I came back to the heart of it. God is key and the rest grows from this. I still don't know which way's up or what's going on or what's going to happen next. But I regained in the resting the kind of truth that God is the root of it all, that he's bigger than the pandemic and that he is with me in hard times, much like I'd been teaching the children all through lockdown. But all I could do in that moment was pray and be directed in prayer. The person I answer to is God, and in these crazy times, he's the one who has to direct my steps. One of the most powerful things that I've done over this crazy time is writing prayer cards to each child. I've taken a few hours out of each week to slow down and ask God what he wants to say to each child. It is definitely one of those moments where it's, God, you need to speak because I don't know what to say. And I think my message that I want to say to you now is, know that what you're doing is enough. When doubts rise, turn to God and ask him for the next step. People value being seen and heard. So listen, pray, but let God lead. And when we keep God as the root, even in the wilderness, we can flourish.